we now have Marc Hoffeld, who is going to share with us. Marc had a career originally in electronic engineering. He worked for 25 years in the steel industry. He was born in Luxembourg, comes from and speaks 5 different languages. He's a celestial chart lover and been as a collector of these for more than 20 years. So, Marc, I can't see you for some reason, but welcome.
Thank you. I can see you. Hello.
Well, that's good.
Okay, next, please. I will like to present to you tonight a rare map of Philippe Lair. Next, please. So here on the right side, you see my map, which was published about 1686 in London. We have the dimensions about 36 by 36 centimeters, about 14.5 inches. We have the southern hemisphere, and it's an external orientation of this celestial map, means it's like on the globe. Most of the constellations we see are Ptolemaic, which existed since more than 2,000 years, and some are newer. So I don't know if you can see my mouse pointer. It's difficult. Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay. No problem.
Oh, I can, but only. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Here is one of the constellations which is newer. It's the Columba, the Dove. And here we have the Southern Cross. I don't know if you can see it here. It's higher.
Yeah.
Okay, but I go into details afterwards. And we have the Royal Oak, which was introduced by Halley in 1678. And we have in the middle of the chart the 12 constellations by Kaiser and Putman, which were Dutch navigators. I come to this afterwards. The map is nearly identical to a chart by Francis Lamb from 1673, except for the data means more stars by Edmund Halley in 1676. And ornaments also are different from the map of Francis Lamb. The constellations figures, they derived from Willem Blau's globes. And on the reverse side, I can't show you because it's now framed, it's written handwriting AR 89568. So this could be simply a number of a catalog or a collection, or it could mean, I have to show it, it means AR, which is Ascensio Recto, right ascension, which is a measure which is often used in spherical astronomy. I believe the map is quite rare because I found only one other example in the British Library. Next, please. So a quick biography by Philippe Lair. He was working between 1660 and 17, lived and worked in London. He had collaborations with other map makers like Robert Morden, Francis Lamb, and others. Philip married in 1684. And he republished a reworked Christopher Saxon County Atlas in about 1689. Mr. Lee died in 1700, and his widow Anne carried the business on until 1730 when she passed away, and all the collection was sold at an auction. Next, please. So here we have a detail of the 12 constellations which were designed by Goodman and Peter Kaiser, which were two Dutchmen who were sent to the southern hemisphere in order to record stars and constellations for navigational purposes. So because they didn't want to let, the Dutch didn't want the Portuguese to have the monopoly of the spice trade. And you can see, for example, Indian, you see the peacock, this wonderful tail colored, and other here's the chameleon, the fly, and the Southern Cross, for example, which are all there's constellations which were created by the two Dutchmen. Next, please. Okay. So here we have two other constellations which are from the ecliptic zodiac constellations. On the left side, you see Sagittarius, which is the Archer, and you see the wonderful colored map. Here you have the Milky Way, and I think it's beautifully colored. And on the right side, you see Capricornus. So it's what's the name in English? Sea goat. Sea goat is also part of the zodiac figures. Okay, could we have next, please? So here I show you some of the coloring, which I like very much. It's the Milky Way. We have here the tail of the peacock, which is also absolutely well done and well drawn. And another old constellation with Ara, which is the altar. I don't know. So this is, on the right side, you see, which was at the time the biggest constellation. It's Argona with the chip, and which was later on divided in three parts. So it was sails. Here we have the keel and the steam or pop deck, because it was too large. So this was done by Nicolas Louis de Lacaille in 1763. Okay, could we have the next, please? So here is the other part of the charts, which is the northern hemisphere, which is most attractive, because you can see the heads on this hemisphere, and the corpses and the bodies were on my southern side. So this is also one. I detected only one other example in the British Museum, which is interesting. Here on the northern hemisphere, you can see a cartouche with London printed and sold by Philip Lear at the Atlas and Hercules and in Cheapside, London. So this was one of his addresses when he worked in London. Next, please. Well, that was most of my presentation. I would simply thank IMCoS for letting me present my chart, and also the authors of these biographies, the biography of these authors, which helped me a lot in doing my research. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marc. It's worth saying, well, it's not worth saying, but my own office is based in Cheapside in London.
Okay.
Do we have time for one or two questions? Anybody? No, I don't see any current questions coming. Do you, Katie?
No, but if anyone has any, put them in the chat and we can get to them at the end.
Super, thank you. Thanks again, Marc.
Excuse my English.
You're off the hook.
Okay.